Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber. Thank you for stopping by on this Saturday. I hope you're having a nice weekend so far. I am, and today's the day we talk about, show you the music that I listened to this week from my vinyl and CD collections. So yeah. Before we get started here, just go down there and hit that like button. If you're watching, you haven't subscribed yet, please do so to help the channel grow. I much appreciate all the subscribers. Put some comments down there. Do you like these albums or not? Do you have any of them? What are your favorite albums that you like to listen to? Well, I started off the week here with a What Not pickup, and it was a 1972 LP, Rock of Ages, by the band. This is live. It was compiled from their recordings made during the series of shows at the Academy of Music in New York City. Peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Top 200 chart. Pretty good album. Got a lot of good stuff on it. It's one of these trifold. I'll to show you this one here. Then we open up again. We have the back, which is plain. And so it's a pretty good album by the band. I have 3 LPs and 1 CD in my collection by the band right now. So that's I would say fair representation that I do like them. And they actually had an appearance in one of the concerts show by one of their longtime friend Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan and the band have been known to be associated together for a long time. So it's the Capital Orange labels. It's in pretty good shape for an album that is 54. No, it's more than that. 28, 52 years old. Pretty good shape. A little bit of popping, but when they're this old, I don't think you can get rid of that no matter how well you clean them. But it's in the collection. It's not there. Didn't purchase it for value, money value. I did purchase it for value of the music though. So that was Rock of Ages, the live concert by the band 1972 album release. It was a good way to start off the week. You have any of the band albums? And did you like the band? The next thing we moved on to was you probably saw me talk about not this particular piece of media, but this particular album a while back ago and said that I needed to get an upgrade. Well, this is the 2025 remastered reissue of the 1975 album by Steely Dan, Katie Lied. This is excellent. Excellent. I am so glad I waited and ordered this upgrade when it came out and had timely to come out. It's the first time it's been reissued in a long time. I have 9 LPs and 2 CDs by Steely Dan in my collection. That shows that. I like them. This was their 4th studio album, released on ABC Records in 1975, and it stands as a significant milestone in the band's discography, examining their synthesis of rock, jazz, and pop. The album was the first one recorded by Becker and Fagan after guitarist Jeff Skunk Baxter and the drummer Joe Harrison left the group. So, the album peaked at number 13 on the Billboard 200, bolstered by the hit single Black Friday, which climbed to 37 on the Billboard Hot 100 list. Really good stuff. Really good sounding release here. I am very happy with that. It's on 180, of course, on 180 gram vinyl. I have a question for you guys, for you music fans out there. See what you think. It seems to have been over the last years, there's been a trend on albums being released on 180 gram vinyl. Even some of them, a couple of them on 200 gram vinyl. Yet I've heard comments by the most recent one I heard in an interview for Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Keith was like the godfather of keyboards and organs and music and rock. And he says that he felt that the albums sounded better when they were on the less vinyl than the 180. And I've heard it a couple other times too. I personally don't have a comparison of having a 180 in a 120 or whatever it is album of the same nature. I might now with Katie Lied, but the problem with the other one that I would needed to upgrade on is it would pop in there, so I won't be able to. I might try it, see if it works. But what do you guys think about that? So that was my second one, Katie Lied, the 2015 or 2025 remastered, reissued of the 1975 album by Steely Dan, Katie Lied. So I'm on a really good roll this week so far. And then the next was I picked this up on Whatnot from the In Groove. A lot of times, Mike, I'll try to show you. He's got the big store in the In Groove, and he does a Thursday Whatnot. Like this one here has a little bit of a ding on the corners here, and up on this corner here. And if he has dings like that, he normally won't sell them in his store. So he's been putting them on Whatnot. So I've been picking. I picked a few up that it's sealed, never been played, at a pretty decent price too. So anyway, this one was Around the Sun by R.E.M. And this is the 2023 reissue of the 2004 album by them. I have 2 cassettes, 2 LPs, and 9 CDs in the collection by R.E.M. This was their 13th studio album by the American alternative rock group. There's the kind of hard to see anything, but there is pictures in there. I don't know. So some guy with his hand raised in the sky. This is the first of only 2 R.E.M. albums to include a title track, and the second being the follow-up Accelerate. Despite hitting number 1 in the UK, it became the first studio album to miss the US top 10, reaching number 13 during the 7 weeks on the Billboard 200. And I think we had some inners on it. Yeah, so just lyrics sheets. Retrospectives of the band's career cite this album as their nadir. Oh, and in 2023, Rolling Stone marked it at number 44 of their list of 50 horrible albums by brilliant artists, calling it their post Bill Berry studio album stellar, except for this one. Well, Michael Stifler, I think it's Stifler or whatever his name is. I was reading an interview by him, and he said that the songs on this album were wonderful, but at that point in time, the band had lost their enthusiasm. So maybe that's what created it. I personally enjoyed it. I mean, the songs were very good, and the quality of this album that I got was very good. So I know my one liking will never get it off of the nadir list. But with what I just quoted, how much media I have by R.E.M., you guys know I like them. So this was the 2023 issue of the 2004 album by R.E.M., Around the Sun. Good stuff. If you're undecided about that one, check it out on your streaming services. See whether you would really like it to add it into your collections or not. So now we're going to do another one. This one I bought from the In Groove also, but I bought this one from their collection. They have a big, what you would call it, on their online store. He has a lot of albums on sale with really good markups on them, markdowns on them, and that. So that's where I got this one from. This is the 2021 album, self-titled, by My Morning Jacket. I have 5 LPs in my, this is a double LP. I have 5 LPs in my collection. You know, they were formed in 1998, and the band sound rooted in rock and country is often experimental and psychedelic. You know, I just came across this group, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. And like I've asked people in my family, oh, do you like My Morning Jacket? Never, they said, never heard of them, never heard of them. Well, I hadn't heard of them either yet, you know. You know, what I read, the group amassed the following beginning in the 2000s, in part due to their live performance. This was the 9th studio album by the American rock band and reached number 10 on 2 U.S. album charts and made it to 3 other charts in various countries. Received good reviews. I like it, very good on my scale. Yeah, yeah. Came across them, I don't know, what I say, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, with the one album. This is a cool looking album too. Uh, and I liked them from the beginning. So here it is. Look at that. Orange with yellow splatter. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. So that was the 2021 release of the self-titled album by My Morning Jacket. I, I like, and I like the group. And I'm watching for, they got another one coming out in March, a new release. It's called Is, that I'm most likely going to get. Okay, now we go into the CDs for the week. Well, the first one I pulled out, number 72. Speaking of CDs, if you haven't checked out the other video I put out yesterday, I believe it was, on I got a hold of the White Snake 6 CD deluxe box set, Into the Light, where David Coverdale's talking, bringing his albums into the White Snake collection. Put a video on it yesterday. Check it out. Pretty cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. But anyway, this one here was a various artist CD from 1998. There was a 4 volume Motown Memories is one of the better compilations featuring Motown hits over a 30-year period. You know, I was listening to this and I was wondering, why did I buy this? Why did I buy this? Because I like Motown, but most of the songs on here I wasn't a real big fan of. Then it dawned on me. There's a song on here called Somebody's Watching Me. My daughter, when she was younger, and her best friend, uh, they were taking dance lessons, and they had a duet class, and they did a duet to that song, My Morning Jacket. I mean, somebody's watching me. What am I talking about? Yeah, I like that song. Listen to the song again. It brought back some good memories. Nothing but on here with the titles of the songs. If you want to freeze it and take a look and see what's on there. So this was volume 4 of the 4 series that made up the collection. This collection, I only have this one. So that was Motown Memories, volume number 4 from 1988. All right. Next, we're going to do this group here. This is number 73, and it's a self-titled album, Wilson Phillips. This group comes from a high pedigree that consists of the sisters Carrie and Wendy Wilson, who are the daughters of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, and Senia Phillips, the daughter of John and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and Papas. That's pretty, how they ever knew each other, got together. Well, of course, Brian Wilson probably knew the Mamas and Papas, because the Beach Boys were around forever also. This was a nice, they had 4 hits on here, 3 or 4 hits on here. And this was a nice change of pace with their, I call it soft pop. Okay. Anyway, this peaked at number 2 on the Billboard's Top 200 chart for 10 weeks starting in August of 1990 in Los Angeles. And it spent 125 weeks on the charts, including 1 year in the top 10. Wow. Very nice change of pace with its soft soft pop rock style. Well, if that was a picture of the three of them together when they were young, then their parents knew each other for a long time. I said this came out in 1990. I don't know if I said that or not. I don't know because I didn't look them up totally. I don't know if they ever released any more albums after this. I probably could find out very easily, but I'm going to goof everything up here. Let's see if I can remember what some of the hits were. Oh yeah, Hold On, Remember Me. There was a couple others, but pretty good stuff. If you want some good soft pop rock, this is a good one to have in your collection. The 1990 album by self-titled Wilson Phillips. Now the last one of the week is the next album that comes out of the collection. And this one is by arguably maybe my favorite group ever. And this is Tales of Mystery and Imagination by the Alan Parsons Project. This is the 1979 reissue of the 1976 album. I was hooked. I was in Europe at the time. I was hooked from the very first time that I heard this album. I was hooked on the Alan Parsons Project, and I now have 4 CDs and 12 LPs in my collection from Alan Parsons or the Alan Parsons Project. I like this so much. This was getting pretty old because it's even at 79, it's 45 years old, and the inner's gone. There's a little bit of popping. This one is being reissued in a deluxe package in March 21st, or I have it on pre-order. So I'm gonna get that here, and I guess it's been remastered and everything else like that. So that's gonna be kind of cool to hear it again, a different way maybe. This was the debut studio album by the British rock band. Now I know it, and Alan Parsons fans know it, but maybe a lot of others may not know it. That Alan Parsons was a really good sound engineer, and he was the sound engineer on Abbey Road, and he was a sound engineer on Pink, The Dark Side of the Moon. And after a while, he says, "Boy, I'm doing all these big albums for people." He says, "I should be making music myself," and that's when he started doing it. It's the lyric and musical theme of the album, which are retelling of horror stories and poetry by Edgar Allan Poe, attracted a cult audience. Yeah, and a cult audience like me. Okay, and I have all of this media in my collection. Plus, I have seen them 3 times live, as recently as last year down at the Fox Theater in Riverside. And so, yeah, arguably, maybe my most favorite group. I won't say of all time. I don't know what I'm doing here, Bill. Oh, I know what I'm doing now. Okay, and take it up. This record was released on 20th Century Fox. This was their first one, and from a European band, They had hard getting into the U.S. This peaked at number 38 on the Billboard's Pop Albums chart. And the song, The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, peaked at number 37 on the Pop Singles charts and number 62 in Canada. So that was a good start, but they got cemented in rock and roll with their next one in 1977, which was I, Robot, which I have. We'll get to it one of these days when it's their turn on the calendar or your turn on the week. So that was a pretty nice week of music. I think all my weeks are nice weeks of music because it's coming from my collection personally, except maybe a new one once in a while that I picked up that I didn't like from whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed this week. This is spinning number 63. Take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other. Stay safe.